Hello, and thank you for joining me for this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I'm a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the HIP product from HCL. Today's topic is using Amazon SQS with HIP 10.03. For this first part of the demonstration, we're starting in the AWS Management Console. For the first application, I'm going to use IAM, Identity and Access Management. In the groups, you will note that I have a group called SQS Group. I have one user in this group, HCL User. We'll come back to that in a moment. In the Permissions tab, you will see that I've attached a policy, Amazon SQS Full Access. So anybody in this group will have access to retrieve and send messages to SQS queues. Back to the users. HCL User itself. If I go into the security credentials, you will note that there is an access key, and when I created this access key, a secret key was given to me. This information I will use to build the connection string to the queue in my map at a later stage. Okay, back to the console. Going into the SQS administration section, you will note that I've got one queue created called Test Q1. If I click on that, you will see additional details such as the region that this queue is in and an ARN and other details that will allow you to create the map connection string that we will use in the next section. I've opened up the HCL Integration Platform HIP Design Server login screen in my browser. I'm going to log in. You will note I have one project called Amazon SQS. In this project I have one schema called generic, and I have two maps, one map called put message, one map called get message. Let's fire up the put message first. My input card 1 uses the echo adapter to send in a string. The string is hello world. I've also activated the REST input flag here, which I shall use later when we come to execute this map from the REST API. My input card 2 again uses the echo adapter. This is also storing a string, which is my access key. And my third input card is my security key, again using the echo adapter to bring in the security key. Neither card 2 or 3 have the REST input flag turned on. My output card, it uses the sync adapter because the content is not sent anywhere via the card. If we have a look at the rules, you will see that I'm using a put rule wrapped in a valid string to put something to the SQS adapter. And here I specify my access key, pulling in input card 2, my security key, pulling in input card 3. I'm using the region flag, the queue flag, and the TV to get verbose tracing in case things go wrong. And then after the comma, what I send to this particular put is the message from input card 1, then a hyphen, then a random number. And of course, if the put fails, the fail function is triggered there as part of the valid. So before we run this map, let's just check the queue again, and we can see that there are currently 0 messages available. We'll go back to the map and hit the build and then run, and go back to the queue and hit the refresh button. You will now note that there are, give it a second more to completely, there we go. You will now note that there is one message available. So my map has successfully put a message onto test Q1. Let's have a look at my second map. Map number 2, get message. My input card uses the Amazon SQS adapter. The connection properties screen is filled in with my access key and secret key, which are both masked. The region is there as well. In the action properties, I can specify the queue name, and the great thing is that if my access key is correct and the region is correct, this fetch button here will actually populate this drop-down list with all the queues that you have. My read mode is set to delete, which will delete the message upon successful map read of the message. And nothing much else I want to discuss in that particular card. On the output side, we are sending the output using the file adapter to a file called output.txt. But the real reason I wanted to come in here was to show you that I turned on the REST flag in this output card as well. So when this map is called via the REST API, the message is retrieved on in1 and the result is sent back to you via the REST API. Okay, so let's build and run this map. Build, run. Run has completed successfully. If we switch back to our queue, message available, when I press the refresh button, will go back to 0, which it has done. In the design server, I can right click on the output card and choose view data, and I get the message that I echoed in, hello world, and then after the hyphen and in brackets the random string that random string of numbers that I wanted to add to every message. So there we go. That is using the Amazon SQS adapter with the design server. In the next section I will use the same maps with the REST API. Moving on to the API then. Here is the Swagger UI Endpoints page. And if I hit the refresh button, you will note that there are currently no endpoints deployed. Back in my design server, I'm going to go to the home section and I'm going to show you a package that I have created called package 1. Within package 1, I have taken items from the Amazon SQS project, and the items that I've taken are 1 put message and 2 get message. So that's my package. Next step, deploy that package to the REST API. I go into the deploy screen and I choose to deploy to the server that I've defined, local REST API, package 1. Hit the deploy button and after a few seconds we get a message deployed successfully. Back at the Swagger Endpoints page, if I hit the refresh key, you will now note that I have 4 endpoints, 2 maps that can be run synchronously or asynchronously. Before I run 1 put message, I'm going to show you once again that the queue currently has 0 messages available. Hit the refresh, 0 messages. Okay, in the Swagger, let's run the put message. We'll click the try it out button. We'll change the content input type to text and we will edit the text that we send in. Hello, this is a message from the REST API. I click execute. Down here in the response we get a confirmation that our map completed successfully, and we also got the equivalent curl command to also run this at the command prompt if we wanted to. So let's take a copy of that, open up our command prompt and paste that in. I'm not going to execute it, I'm going to make a slight change. Hello, this is a message from the REST API, and curl. I'm just going to add on the end there and curl so that we can see that there are 2 different messages. So let's press enter. Message has been placed on the queue by the curl command. Okay, so that's 2 executions that we've done, one via the Swagger API and one via curl. In the queue now we should see 2 messages available when we hit the refresh button. And there we go, 2 messages. Back on the Swagger page, let's go and execute the get message. Here's the get message. If I click the try it out button, I don't need to change any of the inputs, because there's no inputs to this map, it just goes off and gets the message for me. If I hit execute, it has completed successfully, as evidenced by the code 200 and the fact that there's a file to download. I'm going to download that file and show it to you. Show in folder and bring it up in Ultra Edit. Hello, this is a message from the REST API and curl. Okay, so I've got the second message that got received by the queue first. So it's obviously not a first in, first out queue. It's probably a best served type queue. That's not important. The important thing is I can go back to my Swagger API. I can grab a copy of the curl command for the get, and I can paste that into my command prompt and run the get here, and this will get the other message that I already placed, and this is the one that does not say and curl. So there we go. We are using Amazon SQS adapter to put to and get from queues using the API through both the Swagger page and using curl at the command line. I would like to thank you for taking the time to view my video presentation today. If you found the content interesting and informative, please hit that like button, and I would appreciate you subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you.